Hi everyone and welcome back to Nick's Diecast. For today's video, I'll be showing you and reviewing this 1/18 scale Maisto 1998 Jaguar XKR convertible. This is a very nice model from Maisto. I actually got this on eBay for $18. It's been discontinued for a few years now, but I saw it for sale on there for a pretty, good price, and I thought, it was about time to finally get it for my collection. So Maisto also makes the Jaguar XK8, which is also part of the XK series. So this generation of the XK series that you see here debuted in 1997 and was produced until 2006. And the second generation was produced from 2007 until 2015. The XKR was essentially a supercharged version of the XK8, and differences include these vents or louvers on the hood here. The XK8 I don't think has any louvers, it just has like the flat hood. And also this lower grille here is mesh on the XKR, whereas on the XK8 it's a different grille. But Maisto makes models of both the XKR, which is what this one is, and the XK8. And they're both very similar in terms of details. The key differences are, like I said, the hood and the grille, and also the wheel styles. So in terms of the XKR, when it was still being sold, Maisto only made it in this color in its last few years of being made. This really cool bright red with a two-tone beige and dark beige interior. And they also made it at one point in like a metallic dark purple, which had the same color interior. And the red and the purple also came with a different color interior. So they both came with the same color seats, but the color of the tonneau cover you see back here and like the door panels and everything was black. So the red came in those two interior colors and the purple came in those two interior colors. So you could kind of count that as 4 separate colors. And the XK8 had its own set of colors. I believe that came in like blue, red, and green or something like that. But overall, a very well-detailed model. We'll go ahead and start and take a look at the details. We'll take a look at the front to start off with here. So Maisto, I would say, did a very nice job with all the lights. The turn signals are separate pieces, and of course the headlights are separate plastic pieces too. They do a nice job with both the lenses and the light bulbs that are behind the lenses. You can't really see pegs, which is interesting, in the headlights. You can see them in the turn signals, but they aren't, too noticeable from like a far distance. And these little fog lights are done with these kind of plastic jewel pieces down here, and they're very well done. They look very nice. Maisto also did a nice job with this mesh grille down here. It looks like it's actually made of metal, but it's just plastic, of course. They really do a nice job with like the impression that it's made of metal. This badge right here looks very nice. It says Jaguar Supercharged on it with the logo in the center. It is just a sticker, but at least it's centered properly and whatnot. So just be careful when you're cleaning the model and whatnot. This model was made in 1999. It had a date on the box, but Maisto made this actually until 2014. So I don't know if they like improved the model by making this not a sticker, but at least on the older versions, it'll be a sticker. The louvers on the hood are actually functional. You can actually see right into the engine, which is very nice. And the paint quality on this model overall, I would say, is okay. There are some kind of like rougher areas with like some orange peel here and there. That's very common for Maisto models from the 1990s. They've definitely improved a lot since then. So if you get like a newer version of this model, you won't have any problems with the paint. This was made in like the first or second year that the real car was made. So it'll have that issue. Though it might just be a factory defect for mine. I'm not too sure about that. But you really can't see it, especially in this type of lighting. So it's not a big deal. The whole windshield frame is actually made of metal, and so are the mirrors. Very, very nice. Most Maistos don't do that. I kind of like how it's like all kind of one piece. And the model is actually slightly heavy, and I'm guessing that the weight of the windshield being metal kind of contributes to that weight. So taking a look at the side, Maisto did an excellent job with these wheels. It looks like they have separate lug nuts in them, and like the Jaguar badge in the center is very, very well done. You can see these have the Goodyear tires on them because this is an older model. Sometime in the mid-2000s, Maisto removed the Goodyear tires from this model. But if you get an older version, you'll definitely get these tires. It even has like the PSI info and stuff on there. Very cool. And the disc brake actually does move with the wheel, which is very cool to see. There's actually a little, I guess, reflector light along here. That's just painted on, but it's very hard to see. The door handles are just actually molded into the bodywork. They aren't separate pieces or anything like that. Maybe slightly cheap, but at least they, you know, make the effort into molding it in there. Taking a look at the back, much like the front, Maisto does a great job with the rear lights as well. Although there is a very kind of obvious black peg in each of the tail lights. And it is kind of noticeable from a distance too, but it's not a huge deal, considering that the rest of the lights look very nice. These have like a nice texture to them. And these turn signals down here are actually separate pieces too. There's an XKR license plate back there. And the badging back here looks great too. You can see this is Jaguar and then XKR back here. The exhaust pipes do look a bit cheap because they're chromed out, but they are like the right proportion and size and everything, so Maisto did a good job with that. I forgot to mention that this door doesn't quite close all the way, but you can really only see it from this angle of the car here. This car just looks really awesome with like the bright red and the beige interior and seats. I was at a car show recently. There was actually a 2001 version of this car here, and this one's a 1998. But the 2001 I saw was actually pretty much the same thing. It had the same wheels, same interior, same everything. So that was actually very, very cool to see that. Just the whole car overall looks awesome. The design really aged well, I think. The fact this is from 1998, it looks, you know, very modern even today. In terms of opening features, we'll start back here with this massive trunk. This is probably the biggest trunk that I've seen on a model car. So not really too much to see in here. There is kind of a nice texture. Maisto does line the whole inside with plastic, as you can see. I'm not sure what this square is here. I guess that's where the spare tire would actually be housed, and you pull up that panel on the real car. But underneath the trunk lid it's just bare metal and underspray, but you really can't see it anyway because the way that this is angled. But decent sized trunk, and they did a decent job on the inside here. Go ahead and close that up. The engine detailing is very well done as well. And the hood's still stiff because I was actually the first person to open up this model since it was made in 1999. So that was pretty cool. So the XK and the XKR both came with the same V8 engine, although the XKR's engine was actually supercharged. You can see Maisto put in the really nice supercharged inscription on either side of the main block here. It's kind of like raised up plastic, and also the V8 badge there. This is a multi-piece engine, and I say Maisto did a very nice job. You can see all the way down to the bottom of the car. You can see the very faint like Jaguar inscription on the side here. Let's get a better look from this angle. There it is there. There's multiple wires and pipes and hoses and everything. This is like at the peak of Maisto's, you know, engine making. And you can see all the way down to the bottom of the car too, in certain types of lighting. The underside of the hood is just kind of like plain, like undersprayed. I don't know if the real car had some kind of like lining underneath it, but at least the engine itself looks very well done. Go ahead and close that up. We'll take a look at the interior. Maisto did a very nice job overall with this interior here. You can see the wood grain pattern that's on the steering wheel, dashboard, and also along the shifter here. It looks like real wood. They did a very nice job with that. All those little gauges in the center there, underneath that vent, they're actually separate stickers. Same thing with the gauge cluster here. They do 3 separate stickers for that, surrounded by the plastic, like fake wood grain. Details on the door panels are nice as well. There's a nice kind of leather pattern going across them. Maybe a bit overdone, but at least they do put in that kind of texture there. The door handles might actually be silver on the real car. I'll have to look into that. And they do a nice job with that kind of textured speaker down there. All the buttons you can see are labeled. They're just kind of hard to read. There is a little, I can see Jaguar written down there, but they do a nice job with that. The shifter does look a bit kind of cheap though. It doesn't like fit in properly, but from a far distance, you really can't tell the difference. Maisto did a very nice job with these seats as well. You can see there's kind of 2 different textures on them. There's kind of like the leather, and there's kind of inserts in the center there. And they do fold a little bit too, which is very cool to see. You also get the seat belts too, along back here. And here's the very kind of crammed back seat, same as the front seats, very nice leather patterning on there, and also the nice seat belts too. Wish they had silver buckles, that would kind of add to the realism of the car. And of course, this rear convertible top cover, it looks like it's real. Like the way that they do like the creases and the wrinkles and the texture, it just looks incredibly realistic. Maisto actually put in Jaguar floor mats in this model. Very, very cool. You can see right there, it says Jaguar. That's awesome. The floor has kind of a rough texture, and then it has the floor mats right on top of it. So Maisto did an awesome job with that. On this side, taking a look at the pedals, they're kind of hard to see, but they're done in kind of like a black plastic. I might actually paint those silver just to kind of add to the details of the car. But overall, they did an awesome job with this, with the interior here. Go ahead and close this up. So Maisto, I would say, did a nice job with the undercarriage. It is kind of the usual like chrome that they do with like the exhaust pipes and everything, but it is kind of like a different texture. It's not like the smooth chrome that they usually put in. It kind of has like a rougher like texture to it. And you can kind of see some of the engine detail here too, like underneath like the steering system. So that looks very nicely done. So overall, if you can find this model for a decent price, I would say definitely get it. Like if you're a fan of like British cars or Jaguars and whatnot, or European cars in general, it's a very nice addition to any collection, I think. As always, thanks so much for watching, and feel free to comment down below with your thoughts on the model, and if you have one of these and what your thoughts are on it. And as always, be sure to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.